All right, so now we're going to build this one. And this is all Flexbox with media queries. And that first thing we need is that. That's what we're going for, mobile first. And so we got some pages here. And that's like 5 divs right there, except there's a header, 2 asides, a footer, and this is like main. So we'll do a header, and we'll do it, I guess, can we do it this way? Header, main. No, it doesn't like that. What about plus? Main. Oh, it does like that. Header, main, aside 1, aside 2, aside times 2, and we're just doing our emit here, see what it does. Oh, that was cool. We'll call this header. Oops, no we won't. We'll call this, dang it, dang. Header, main, aside 1, aside 2, footer. Cool. And now we want to write some CSS. So we'll start off with our HTML, our body, our header, our main, our aside, and our footer. And we will do content padding, border, margin, what? Box sizing, what? Font, inherit, color, inherit, what? And then we are now going to do, I'm wondering if we need a container. What do you think? It's a little bit off the page, so I say we do one. And we'll just call this a section. Whoops, stay up there. Oh, it's moving it all together. That's lame. Okay. So now with our section, we'll do little flamingo clapping, and now we're going to do Flexbox. I don't know if we need any centering or anything, but that should fill them all in. We just need to give them colors. Red. Oh, we're going to have IDs. We could have a side with an ID of S1. And we could have a side with an ID of S2. And footer. And this needs ID S1. And this needs ID S2. And we're just going to duplicate that, duplicate that, duplicate that, duplicate that. And we've got red, we've got like a blue something, we've got a gold, we have a pink, we have a green. All right, let's look at it. Well, that's not quite what we had in mind. So what do we need to do? How do we get this to that? Ideas. Who wants to give an idea change one word. What's the one word you're going to start with? I'm going to start with row to column. Well, that worked out pretty well. That's good, right? Except now our design pattern's off. So let's go back here. And to all these things, we will go with that grew and pushed it all over. What happens if we do it to all of them? Or we could do flex basis 100%. Flex grow means it's all on the same row, and they'll grow in size, and then they'll fill in just so you could see that. This isn't going to be the right solution. I'm just showing you what happens. Right? Now they fill up the whole row. So what I really want, flex basis 100%. There we go. It's good, yeah? I wonder if there's ever been a professor who's fallen asleep in the middle of lecturing. I'm sure it's happened, right? Just like some old professors like stops talking about like the Colonial War and sort of falls asleep right in class, the students leave. I'm sure it's happened. And I'm sure it's also been that he then died or she died, and then the students felt bad because they walked out and the professor died. So now how do we get it from this to this? Those each need to be 50%, right? So at our break, so we're going to do another style sheet. This will be like a media query at 600 plus. And then we're going to have this, and it'll be that. And then there it is. And then we're going to have another one that's going to be at media query. It's like 1200 plus. No! It was supposed to be there. Okay. And now on this next one, we want asides to be 50%. I copy that code, put it here, 50%. Don't need to say this again, it's already been said. We just need to change things that we don't want being said. Whoop, 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 whoop. It's always that. Why? Because I left out the media. Min width, 600 pixels. Sweet. Sweet. Right? Lord, I was born a rambling man. And then here we need to go to that. So these are going to become like 15, 70, 15. And what's the other one that's in there is main. And we also have to change flex order. So we're going to have to get all these. So this one's going to be like 15%. This one's going to be like 15%. Main is going to be 70%. And we don't need any of that. And if we just look at this now, So that's right, but this one needs to come over, right? So these are all by default 0, I think, order. So let's just do flex order. No, it's just order, right? Just order 1. And they need to be flex children, flex items, which they are. So they're good. So where's that go? Now it goes to the end, which means that they're all 0. So we want that one to be 0, so we don't have to set anything on that one. Because that's 0. And then this one will be 2. This one will be 1. This one will be 3. And then this one is 0, so we want it to be 4. Otherwise, it'd appear. All right, watch what happens where the footer appears. We have header, footer, and then those. But if we put this on, now we are in order. Beatrice, there's a test coming up. I see you cringing. So now all we need to do is give a little bit of height to this. Those things. And so all of those, what would you recommend for doing height on all those? Anybody? Okay, just right here. Like that. Angel? Just right there?
Oh no.
I'm being a smart aleck. Where? In each of the tags? How about, what is it going to be? Height, padding, border, margin? How happens if it's padding? We have box sizing border box, which means size doesn't change. Woo, there we go. Size changed. Woo. So it's padding around the content. Push the header word in, so it pushed everything in. So we could do padding around the text, around the content. We could do border, margin, or we could just try height. I like height. And I think we'll go with height 50 pixels. 80. Nice, yeah? And what if we want our words in the center? Like there. In each of those containers, let's make them a flex container. How can we clean this up? Maybe do a class on each of these. Okay, class on each of those. Then we could do that over here. And all that could go in here. Now we've got class, which has we have element, we have class, which is 10, and ID, which is 100. So when we come over here, we're going to try to overwrite something with a 100 with a element, and ID is, that's going to overwrite, but this won't overwrite if we try to overwrite those flex spaces, which looks like, oops, I just closed that, which it looks like we might. So that's like the nuances, right? But here, that's like much easier. Like maybe we'll leave flex basis. Where? We have main. Oh, main. So we have that for main. We'll leave flex basis in there too. Or I know how we could overwrite it. We'll put flex bases up there. And heights in each of them. Right? Clean up the code. Does that make sense? Yes, people? Oh, hey, we have it here in header too. Does that make sense what I just did? And so here I'm just like the colors, and this code I was repeating it, so I'm just applying that to each one of these elements. And the section is different. And then here they change. Is flex basis going to overwrite? An ID will overwrite a class, so that's going to work, right? But here, an ID is going to overwrite a class. But here, an element, which is 1, is not going to overwrite a class, which is 10. And so I need to do main.chi, right? And footer.chi, so that I get 101, because I have a class and I have an element. No, I get 11, 10 and 1. I have a class and I have an element. CSS specificity. And so if that doesn't make sense, go take my entire course on Greater Commons. Right here for building websites, and it'll totally make sense. So if I overwrite that, now it should all work. And I was going to show you CSS specificity. So it all still works fine, right? And CSS specificity calculator right here, right? So a class is 10, elements 1, and IDs are hundreds. All right. And if I didn't have those here, main is this one, and I'm saying it's 2, but it won't be that anymore. It's like, what? Right? Because I didn't overwrite my class. Do you get it? Javier, do you get it? Are you going to start coding? What? Why? It's no harder than this stuff. And all right, hit like and subscribe, even though I'm completely fighting something and drained with energy. Please hit like and subscribe. I want to retire.